Good morning guys, and welcome to part 48 of the Great Farm Cleanup. And this morning I've been out and about fairly early. I've been loading the van, I've been doing a bit of work in the shed. I had the fire going and it was great. Got a bit sorted out in there, which I'll show you later, and that's more than what I expected to do in the shed this week. I've continued to load the van this morning and I'll show you how we're packing that. I'm now up to bringing boxes out of the house, so I'm just going to go flat out for the next few hours and try and pack as much in the van here as I can. At lunchtime, we do have to have an early lunch and we have to go into town for about an hour to do some business. And then this afternoon, I think we'll try and move that wagon. So I've started the Fergie tractor just to make sure it goes. Hasn't been started for quite some time. Fired up beautifully. All the spider webs vibrated as she was idling. So I've left it run for a little bit just to warm up. Turned it off now. We'll get to that after lunch and then we'll see if the old wagon will roll. That's exciting. I've already packed all these small boxes and stuff that came out of those big cabinets in the end of the kitchen, and now I'm starting to bring some boxes out that Greg and Estella had packed up. So we'll get them in as best we can. They're a bit hard to stack when they sit above the level of the crate, but sometimes with books and things of large size you can't help that. I do want to try and stack the van pretty much to the roof if I can. Lots of little boxes of things. Mum's she's been a herbalist and she dabbles a lot in natural cures, and there's some tinctures she's made up with various flowers and herbs and stuff. So there's lots of those. There's lots of jars of dried foliage and things, and they're all going to go to Nagambie, and we'll basically sort them out over there. So what I've done with these cabinets is that's the first one I rolled out in last episodes, and we've packed that totally full of boxes. I've jammed a couple of pillows to fill up the gaps. Put a blanket over it, as you can see. This was the tall cupboard with the doors. I took the doors off. We've packed that up against there. I've now filled this totally with boxes, and even a couple of clocks and things I've wrapped in jumpers. So just one little gap there to fill up, and then I can put another blanket over this one. And I think I'll start this section with crates and heavy boxes, and I can stack up high. And the top shelf unit, I think I'll lay flat across the top, and then we can load above it with bags and suitcases. So I have a method to my stacking, and I'd like to think I'm fairly efficient. Let's see if we can get it all in the van over the course of the next day and a half. Just a quick peek in the workshop now, and as usual it's looking more messy than what it was, but that's just the way cleaning up goes. I've emptied that cupboard complex, call it a complex, it's a decent cupboard. I've emptied that completely, and I've started on these back shelves that I did want to do last time I was here and didn't get round to it. So if I continue to empty that, this will make the corner of the shed back in here totally free and done, which means that I can use this floor space here to stack things that are ready to go. Some of these boxes will go back to my place to be sorted for shop stock. There's some bags of rubbish, and there's other bags which I think have, oh, that's a bit of rubbish in that one too. We also have bags of recycling. So I can stack all the finished stuff in here to get it out of the road, and that will allow us to free up the centre of this shed and then use it more as a garage sale base for a lot of tools and things. Now, I mentioned in previous videos that once I'm more organised here, and once Mum has actually moved, which is coming up fairly soon, I think next trip she may be coming back with me and we may get her car back over to Nagambie. Once that happens, then when I come over here, we'll advertise it as a garage sale, and I can have a lot of people come out and browse and hopefully pick up, you know, there's a lot of good value stuff here. I've lined all these spanners and things up for $1 each. I would get at least that in the shop back home, but, you know, I just don't have the time to pack it up and then try and sell it at the moment. Whatever's left, by all means, that's what I'll do. So I've got a lot of stuff spread out here at like $1 each. We've got some other things at $5 each. But it's just a way for me to get it organised and maybe make some bonus sales. And yeah, so the centre of this shed, really, there's not actually a lot here. There's a lot of just empty boxes and half-filled boxes, and this large steel workbench with the Dawn vise on it I will be taking back home at some stage. So yeah, I think we're actually making pretty good progress on this workshop. There's really only that untamed corner over there to sort through, and there's no furniture there other than a couple of bedside tables right at the front here. The rest of it stays here. We just have to empty it. Time for a van progress report, and we're getting a lot of stuff in here fairly compactly, which I'm happy with. It's packed solid. All the cupboards are full of boxes. I've packed down that side as I suggested I was going to do. and I've leveled it off with the shelves and various packing blankets, and now I'm going to put another thin mattress over the back here, which provides essentially a bed for us to slide the top shelf unit in. Then I can throw a big doona over that and put more boxes and light stuff and bags up on top. So we're going to get a good load. In fact, I just discussed it with Mum, and I reckon we will have room for one of the chest freezers at the back. So as well as getting all the boxes in that Greg and Estella packed, and all the boxes that we packed out of these cabinets last night, we can actually probably get one of the chest freezers in. So a small loading problem here, hopefully overcome. I couldn't lift this shelf up onto the top on my own. Part of the trouble was the heaviest part's the top, and when trying to rest, like pick up from the bottom, the back is only very thin ply and it's only stapled, so it's going to fall apart. So, and I want to have the top towards the front of the van, so I've employed a double ramp system here. I found an old trestle top, which I should be able to slide the thing up on its back all the way up to the top. So we'll see how we go. Okay, that worked well, but they really shouldn't make furniture just with staples. Nothing's actually broken here, but it's just the staples have pulled out, and look at them. You know, you'd be lucky to hold 3 pieces of paper together with those, and they expect to hold furniture together. Anyway, I'll just re-glue and attach that when I get to Mum's. Might even put a plate across the back just to give it some strength, because other than these little bits, this is very thin plywood. Anyway, that works well back there. I'll throw a couple of cushions behind it and push it hard against the wall, throw a blanket over it, and we can put more boxes in. So now you can hear the tractor running in the distance. We're just about to go and see if we can move the wagon. I've got the van packed probably around about half, a little bit over half. It's packed solid. I'm pretty happy with what I've got in there. Everything that Greg and Estella boxed up inside, plus everything that Mum and I boxed up, plus the kitchen cabinets are in here. I'm going to put a chest freezer in the back, which will probably be mostly full of food, so I'll still have it plugged in tonight, and a filing cabinet, and we'll just round up heaps of other boxes just to fill it up. But we're going to have a good load this time. Anyway, I've got the tractor started, as you can hear, and unhooked the old binder that's still hooked up. Well, it was hooked up to it. I've found a chain that I think will do the job. So let's go out, and I've opened a few gates, so let's go for a drive and see if we can get that wagon out of the paddock. Okay, the gate's blown closed in the wind, but when you're in a tractor, it's easy to open the gate with the wheel. That will be fine, thank you very much. And here come the spectators to see what's going on. Now just looking at this front axle, there is an eye bolt there and there's one on the other side. I don't know how strong, there's a couple in the middle too. I don't know how strong that timber's going to be, but we might try that and see if it pulls from there. Otherwise I could wrap a chain around the entire axle, but I think I'll try a couple of D-shackles on those eye bolts. And I have a little short bit of chain to go through there, which could hook on the main chain. So hopefully we have some sort of steering. Okay, I'm not sure if this is going to work without me pinning that junction there of chains, because it might slip from one side to the other. To be able to steer the wagon, I think one side is obviously going to have to go tight and pull more than what the other is. But I suspect the chain might slip through there. I don't know, there's only one way to find out, isn't there? Okay, she has moved, and someone asked me in the last video how long has it been here. I think probably 20 or 30 years. When I was a kid it was over in the other part of the lane, so it's been moved since I left the farm, but I think that it would have been at least 20 or 30 years where it's been here, and you can see it's obviously sunk into the ground a lot. The wheels look like they're going to hold together, which is great. However, the frame itself was creaking, and you can see the turntables opened up a bit there, so I think it's going to steer, but I have a suspicion that that whole front dolly assembly might let go, because the frame actually tying both ends together isn't very strong at all. I think if I take it really slowly we might stay together. It would be nice if it does. It's going to be, yeah, I mean if it falls apart we can still sell both the wheel assemblies, but I'd rather it stay together. You can see it's tilted this front dolly back quite a bit. The axles themselves look okay. I don't think the chains are going to pull the eye bolts out of the cross beam. I think that's strong enough. But all the subframe is in very bad condition. Alright, well it looks like it's going to turn too, which is great. I'm just going to take it super slow and we'll see if we can get it back to the farmyard. Okay, so far so good. It looks like the wheels are holding together fine. I think that's the least of our worries. The frame's certainly wobbling a bit, but I reckon it might hang together. I've got a bit of a dip to go through here, which will put a bit of a strain on things. I'm going to have to move some hay bales and try and get a bit of a slow arc towards that gate. It's only a narrow gate, and I want the wagon, it's tracking behind the tractor pretty well, but if it cuts across a bit and doesn't fit, you know, if it lines up the gate post, I can't reverse, so hopefully I'll get it right first go. So it's the slowest I've ever driven the tractor down the lane. We're getting there. It's holding together okay, although this front tyre, or you know, the steel ring, they call it the tyre, is quite loose, and it was working off on the inside. So I've just kind of tapped it back as best I can. Hopefully it stays on, because if that tyre comes off, that wheel's going to self-destruct. But anyway, we're nearly there. As I said, I don't often drive a tractor in first low. It's the slowest I've ever driven down this lane. But well, hopefully we've only got to get up there past that shed and in that gate, and we'll park it on the gravel somewhere, and it'll be certainly able to be towed up onto a car trailer or a suitable truck with a ramp and a winch and that sort of stuff. So at least we know it rolls well, and we've been able to get out of the paddock. Let's get at this last 100 yards. Success. We've got the old girl into the farmyard. The actual tyre worked itself back on, so it's quite loose on the wheel. You can see it wobbling there. Yeah, that wheel's certainly the worst of them, and it looks like the cracks have perhaps opened up a little bit too, but it made it here. Oh, look, the axle looks a bit offset. Maybe it's a bit rotted in there. So it's amazing the axle's even still turned. I guess they've still got old grease in them. That wheel held together well, even though it's missing a fair portion of it. But yeah, it's got here. That's fantastic. We only lost a few little bits and pieces down the laneway, but very pleased to get that here in one piece. You can see our wobbly tracks. So that can stay there now until it's sold. I don't know how we're going to go. I'll obviously film it for our as an episode. We'll put it on eBay. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it finds a loving home. No doubt it will be an ornament on a property somewhere. Perhaps someone may well just buy it for the wheels. But anyway, my job's to put it here and to sell it. So that's what we've got to do next, is sell it. I probably won't worry about it. I might do some photos perhaps now. The light's pretty good. And oh look, maybe I could put it on eBay and see how we go. Alright, that may even be the next episode once I finish up this week's trip. It's the next day now. It's Thursday. I'm just about to head off. We've just had an early lunch. The van's pretty well chockers. Got a lot of extra stuff in here. There's a freezer that's 3/4 full of food. We've still got it plugged in. And when I get home this afternoon, I'll run a cord out and plug it in until we can get it unloaded. An extra filing cabinet, a lot more stuff up the top, including bags of recyclables, and a bookshelf that came from the hallway in the house. Lots of stuff there. All I'm going to do to finish off that load is put a large foam mattress across it all, and then just close the doors, and that will hold everything in position. Even the front section of the van, we got a fair load in, including lots of pot plants. So it looks like I'm driving along with my very own fernery. So pretty happy with this load. We've really made an impact in the house. The shed itself, I did a lot more out in the shed than I had planned to. So it still looks messy in the middle, but we have arranged a lot of stuff, packed a lot of stuff. I've got boxes and bags ready to go next trip. And as far as the other shed goes, well, I've got some wardrobes out of the farmhouse, which I will be selling on Facebook Marketplace as well. And incidentally, the wagon, sitting beautifully over there in the yard, looks great. I have done a heap of photos of that, so we'll get that on eBay, and that will probably be the next farm cleanup episode. In here, we've got some nice 1960s wardrobes. They're beautiful condition. Mum and Dad brought them brand new in 1960 something, probably 63 or 4. And I think they were made in Melbourne, and they're actually Myrtle, I believe. Very nice, solid timber wardrobes. I'm going to put them both on Facebook Marketplace, probably at $100 each. I know people don't buy wardrobes so much anymore, but look, I think it's worth it just for the timber. So we'll see how we go. They're on cute little retro legs, and I managed to move them out here this morning. So I've moved a lot of stuff around this morning. I've got a freezer out of the other utility room that's now in the farmhouse, and a table. The table that was actually here is now in the farmhouse so that Mum can have some flat surfaces to sort out stuff. I've even washed the car this morning, so it's been a busy morning. So I'm just about to close the van up. I think I've done everything I need to do. Better hit the road. So it's been a short trip, but a very productive one. And when I say short, I haven't been here for very long. It's still the same distance to get home. So it's been very productive. I'm very happy with what we've achieved. Now, I'll be back here in a fortnight, well, less now. And we think Mum is actually coming back with me then. So that will be the move date. But she will come back with me in following weeks to help pack up more stuff and, obviously sort things out, because there's still a lot of packing up to do. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. I hope you're enjoying the saga that is the Great Farm Cleanup. It has potential to be the longest running series I've ever done, although the Emergency Storage Shed Cleanout series probably will win. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying these series. Catch you next time. Bye for now.